Nomad eCommerce is a integrated e-commerce platform for users of a couple different ERP platforms to integrate sales orders, addresses, pricing, inventory back and forth to their storefronts. Merritt Controls is a customer out of Boston, Massachusetts. What they do is they build different engineering parts for engineering lift solutions and other control module systems. On their storefront, I can go into different product pages by navigating through different categories. As I go into a product page on the platform, I can see details around that product. I can see the item number, which comes from the ERP. I can see a description that they've provided us. I can click through different images to get different perspectives of the actual part or item I'm purchasing. I can see specifications that Nomad will use in the search to leverage different filtration, which I'll show you in a moment, as well as also some system generated estimates. So on here, I can actually see what my lead time and shipping estimate is for how many business days it would take for this item to arrive if it was ordered, assuming it's in stock. I can also cross-reference to different kinds of marketing materials. So if I needed to show someone a spare parts diagram, for example, Nomad does have the ability to show them a spare parts diagram that they can actually click on and visualize on the actual web browser itself. If I go to actually become a signed in user on the site, which I'll do now. As a signed in user, one difference you'll note is that because this is a B2B site, I'm actually able to see my customer specific pricing as well as the numbers of items that are in stock in the warehouse for that particular B2B user. So if I click on this 10mm detent roller item again, I can now see how many are in stock in my warehouse. I can also see the list price for the item, as well as my price for one and my price for 25. If I add this to the cart and view my cart here, Nomad will show the user what's in stock, how many they're purchasing, the price they're paying. I can estimate my shipping and tax with a postal code. This postal code I enter here is actually being leveraged to get a rate through UPS using Merritt Controls' account. So I'm actually getting a return here of the live rate API's response for Merritt Controls specific pricing to ship a package containing this item to that zip code. Nomad is able to do this because in the ERP, we're able to pull out the weights and dimensions of every item. So it's easy for us to get a package dimension and weight as part of that rate request. We also integrate with Avalara for sales tax in addition to TaxJar. So if this was a taxable state, Avalara or TaxJar would have come back and said what the actual sales tax should have been. If I hit proceed to checkout here, Nomad's going to show me where it's shipping to. I can change my shipment address to any address that we have on file in the ERP. So as a user, I can go in here and I can select many addresses that already exist, or I can enter my own new address. If I go back to checkout, you'll notice it did recalculate all my shipping charges because my address did change. On Merritt Controls, we did add the ability for users to ship via their own account. So I click ship via your own account. I can enter in my own account number, select a carrier from a dropdown, as well as any methods that Merritt Controls will support. And that would make this order go in as a third-party billing order with these details populated on the sales order header. I am forced to specify a certain purchase order number, indicate whether it should ship partial or not, and some notes and instructions. This is a pretty free form area. If you had any other details you need us to capture, we can definitely capture them here. Nomad does pull the customer's payment details out of the ERP. So I know that this account has been gifted net 30 terms. We can place their order on net 30 as a result, or you can also place the order on a credit card. Nomad integrates with probably 10 or 12 different payment gateways at this point, but all the popular ones, ChargeLogic, 3 Delta Systems, Authorize.net, USA ePay, CyberSource, just to name a few. And if I were to hit the submit order button, Nomad would actually create this order in the ERP in about 10 minutes as a new sales order. And it would look just like as if someone on their team had entered that order manually. Users can find parts on the site by doing searches. So if I do a search for boot here, Nomad will find me a correlation of all items that somehow relate to the string boot. I can filter down by different attributes. So if I knew what handle I was compatible with, for example, I can get down to a specific item very quickly through this left rail here. Once I place my order, I do have the ability to go to an account page. On that account page, I can see details around my transaction history, both on the web and off the web. This would be an example here of a web order that was recently placed on August 12th. On this web order, I can see what was placed, how it was paid for, where it's shipping to, where it's billing to, what the purchase order number was. I can also see that the order was received in the ERP system and issued an order number. I can see an invoice when that order is invoiced in the system. Obviously, this is an order that was changed a bit when it was actually invoiced. I get a completion status when the order has been closed out, and I get a tracking number when that order has shipped. So if I click this tracking number here, it will take you to the UPS or FedEx site, depending on what shipping carrier you're using, so that users can see what the shipment status is on that transaction. We do store that detail pretty much in perpetuity. It's also printable. So if you had a user that needed to print something off, they can print it off here for their own records or for sharing elsewhere. And I can also do searches inside the platform. So if I wanted to search for a particular PO number or order number, Nomad does give them a perpetual view of all their ordering history as far back as you want us to go. Nomad does have the ability to support some content pages in the platform. For example, you can actually use Nomad as a full-fledged eCommerce storefront. You can leverage any sort of kind of ancillary information or content that you want to have embedded on the site. In this particular case, Merritt Controls is installed as a subdomain. So if I hit this visit main site button here, this is Merritt Controls' main corporate site. I believe it's a Drupal site. But their part store, which is the Nomad site, is right up here, and it's just a subdomain, store.Merritt Controls. Let us know if you have any questions. Thank you very much. Have a good day.